There's the little red light. It is 6 o'clock Mountain Time. I'm Max, and yes, I'm here to rant again. We call this Max Rants because I rant. Oh my God, do I rant. If you'll remember in yesterday's rant, let's talk about that one. I spent some time, more than a little, bitching about our broken system of justice. Because let's face it, the American criminal justice system is nothing more than a system of injustice. And it's got to be fixed. So today's sort of a part 2, and I would call it Rebuilding the System, How to Do It. Sit down, relax. This will take a while. Start with the first of 10 steps. Only 10, that's all you got to handle here. Step 1. With my paper, yes. When the arrested person is presented to the magistrate, for arraignment, what you do is, if a person's arrested, the law must state that that person has to be arraigned before a judge within 24 hours of the time he was arrested, or everything is dropped. Charges dropped, done, over, out. Now, that would do well in speeding along our snail's pace justice system. It really would. If prosecutors don't have really solid evidence, okay, if the cops don't have really solid evidence, convincing evidence, this is going to encourage them to act a little more professionally and to look before they leap. That's step 1. Let's go to step 2. Got to put my finger on the page or I'll lose my place. Okay. Arraignment, of course, that determines whether or not a criminal is going to, is the guy going to trial, or are you going to kick him loose? Is there enough evidence, or are you going to kick him loose? Well, the magistrate, the judge sitting, must make his or her decision within 24 hours of arraignment as to whether or not trial is warranted. They can't take 3, 4, 5, 6 days to think it over. They can't wait for additional evidence to come in. They got to make their damn mind up within 24 hours. You've arraigned this guy, this gal. Are you going to trial or not? That same judge, okay, is authorized to set bail, but only according to established guidelines. We are a nation of laws, not of people. And you can never vary from them, okay? You're the judge, you're the magistrate. You cannot vary from the guidelines. Open the book, go to page 27, line 6. That's what it says. Shut up and do it. Okay, that's number 2, out of the way. Let's look at number 3. The trial, assuming that the magistrate, the judge said, yeah, this is going to work. Let's go to trial. The trial must begin not more than 30 days after arraignment. You hear me? You get arraigned in March, you better start trial in April or earlier. That trial is to be conducted now with 3 judges, a 3-judge panel sitting at the head. No jury. Screw the jury system. We'll get into that. These 3 judges, okay, will be selected, randomly selected on the day of the trial. Throw the dice, toss a coin, whatever you want. You have a judge pool from which you draw your judges. This basically makes it so that you don't get judges used to working with each other, little cliques, little joint prejudices. These 3 don't know whom they're going to be with until the day of the trial. Now, that's a cool way to go. Oh, I talked about juries, didn't I? Well, let's go into juries. Number 4. The jury system sucks. Let's get real. Come on. Anybody sitting on the jury, you're either retired and on a pension and bored as hell, or you're a government employee, which is worse than being retired. You're chronically unemployed, or you're prejudiced as hell. I mean, you cannot possibly get a jury of your peers unless you committed a crime as an 80-year-old minority. Come on. And jury pay? Get real. This, what is it, $15 a day, whatever? A real person cannot afford to do it. You'll never get your peers, so wipe out the jury system. There's too much abuse anyway as judges and prosecutors and defense attorneys manipulate these juries. Just the selection alone can take weeks. No jury, 3-judge panel, done. All right, step number 5. If the panel of judges finds a not guilty verdict, now get careful here. This is like a 2/3 majority. If that 3-person judge panel says that this person is not guilty, then he's not guilty. And that judgment is in extreme prejudice, meaning that the state can't come back and try it again. They can't do it. They had their shot, not guilty, over. The state cannot appeal it or retry it. It's done, over. This verdict also should leave the defendant, now free, immune from all civil suit or action, such as the case where the guy is tried for the criminal offense of breaking and entering, found not guilty, then is sued by the same homeowners for what is basically the same crime. No. If you are found not guilty, you're immune from civil suit, immune from civil action. The state can't come back and hit you again and again and again. I mean, even once you've been tried on either county, state, or federal, doesn't matter, you're immune. We have too many cases in America where a person is found not guilty on a state level. Then the feds move in, rename the crime, drag them away, and try them again. That would be over. Done. All right, enough said. Let's go to the 6th one. What if that 3-judge panel finds the defendant guilty? What if they find him guilty? Well, then, sentencing must take place within no more than 72 hours of the, okay? You got 72 hours to sentence the guy, or again, he walks. Listen to me. Why these 72 hours? Because the courts have been known to hold people for a year or more waiting for frickin' sentencing. This system sucks. Time to cough. There, I feel better already. It sucks. So what do? Sentencing is decided and passed, of course, by 2 out of 3 judges. There you go. Now, listen to this one, number 7. In America, we have what's called a sentencing phase, and relatives and other affected people get up and they cry and he was a lonely livelihood. He was a beautiful boy. Whatever, okay? This sentencing phase should not exist. And no relative or persons close to the convicted, the victims, the convicted guy, whatever, no one's allowed within 100 feet of the courtroom. None of that. Sentencing should be based entirely on the rule of law and not influenced by whining, crying, shouting, and otherwise disparate people who are looking for either a pint of blood, a quart of blood, or they want somebody dead or double sentenced. They got no say. Okay, it affected them, it hurt them. But you know what? Tough shit, people. No sentencing phase. Within 72 hours of conviction, the judges get together, they agree on a sentence, they pass it. Done. Okay. Number 8. Okay. Once sentence has been passed, the convict is to be assigned to and placed in an appropriate facility. This has to take place within, yes, 72 hours. That's 3 days. You got to pack his ass up, ship him off to prison. It's important for the convict and the public to see swift and fair justice. Also, corporal punishment should be a regular part. Follow the Singapore Protocol. They have got this down to down to a science. If we start beating them, medically supervised, not going to kill or cripple them. If we start beating them, a lot of guys are saying, I ain't going back to the joint. I ain't going to get 3 hots in a cot and a color TV. I'm going to get my ass beat. Capital punishment, on the other hand, should be an absolute last resort. Last of the last of the last. And such horrific execution practices should be made. In other words, if the guy's been convicted of murder, if he's appealed it and lost the appeal and it's time to kill him, give him 30 days. And when you do execute him, make the execution so painful, so arduous. Maybe, I don't know, kick him to death with steel toe boots or beat on him until he gives up the ghost. Make it so horrible that it serves as a defense, as a deterrent for other people. But again, that has to be the absolute last resort, because the problem with death sentences is if you're wrong, you can't go back and fix it. All right, let's go to the 9th one. Upon completion of sentence, the convict is to be released. And as soon as he or she is out of the system, not in prison, not in jail, not on probation, the forgiveness clock begins to tick. This is a system wherein time counts in favor of the convict. If he can keep his nose clean, stay out of trouble for 2 years, then his entire criminal record, arrest, conviction, everything is gone. It's 99% gone. These records can now only be obtained by a 3-judge panel considering sentencing. Why? Because they want to dig down to see if you are a repeat offender. Only they can dig deep into these records. The police can't dig into them. The military can't get into them. Nobody has access except a 3-judge panel under current assignment to determine punishment. Now understand, too, the 3 judges who assign punishment cannot be the same 3 judges who tried and found guilty. They're always chosen with a toss of the coin or with a random number generating computer or dice, but they're always randomly chosen, so we have the ultimate in objectivity and fairness. Now let's go to the 10th and final one. I'm familiar with how Singaporeans and Chinese in many countries cane their people. They guard the kidneys, they guard the thighs, but they beat that butt crazy. And unfortunately, 5 or 6 good strokes with a cane often leaves the person caned with neuropathy. That's a nerve-based pain, literally pain on the ass. There's no cure for neuropathy. There's none. I know. I have it in my legs and feet, and it hurts like hell. All you can do is medicate it. Well, my 10th correction is medical treatment for neuropathy induced by caning is to be provided at no charge to the convict for as long as this affliction remains. That's forever. Neuropathy pain is a common result. There are a lot of great generic drugs. I take a drug called gabapentin, very effective as long as I stay on schedule. It doesn't work for everybody, but since there's no cure, that's the risk you take. You know, what do they say? Don't do the crime if you can't pay the time. Right. Now, what I've just given you is not a perfect system. It's far from. But it's a hell of a lot better than the piece of shit we're working with right now, claiming America has equal justice, equality under the law. Come on, wake up. Somebody slap me twice because the system I just outlined is superior, up above and beyond what we have right now. The fallacy of the jury is put away. It's gone. The fallacy of single judges who have gone totally power crazy is gone. You got 3 judges randomly selected, and that is for trial and sentencing. You need that. And I might add, in the case of a capital crime where for some reason they warrant a death penalty, appeal should be automatic and undeniable and irrevocable. In other words, even if the inmate says, I want to die, too bad, baby, you're going to have an appeal. That appeal must be completed within 6 months, no more, 6 months. And if you lose the appeal, guess what? You're gone, baby. That's it. And you know what? I could blow taps for our legal system because they got some great ideas, but who's going to do it? Come on. Who's going to do it? Too many judges are sitting up in their perches as gods because power corrupts, and 4 years on the bench corrupts absolutely. I'm Max, and that's the way it is, according to me.